Hello, hello. My name is Linda, also known as Tortajala around the internet. I love creative journaling and all things stationery. In this video, I'm going to work on my March bullet journal spreads. Here are the printables that I'm going to be using to decorate and set up my pages. These are actually the designs I have created for my Ko-fi members. If you're interested, there is a link below to my Ko-fi feed. Basically, every month you get a bunch of printables to use, and this month it's all around Lucky Charm motifs. So, a set of pretty patterned papers that you can print out and use in your journaling. And there's a variety that just sort of like coordinate or go together. So I've created um, just different, fun patterns that are easy to print out at home. And of course, you can always print them out like full page or half page or, change the sizing. So I really think that digital printables are very cool and very fun to use. And of course, you can use them over and over again as well. There's also like a make your luck art print, and there are also matching journaling cards that you get. So you can use these for decoration or for embellishment. I've already, cut everything out. So as with every month, I've also printed out the journaling cards that I use to write down my highlights for every single month. And these journaling cards are actually free to download in my Ko-fi shop, so you can hop on over there if you're interested. And basically, what I decided to do this year, I sort of started midway in this bullet journal from notebook therapy because I still had lots of pages to fill up. And so I decided for 2025, I was just going to like start and do overview spreads for every single month of the year. And basically, they would just list highlights for the month. And my thought is that it would be really easy to be able to like flip through and see the whole year of accomplishments and such uh, if they were just monthly spreads. So for March, I'm going to set things up, and usually I do this like sometime during the month, but it doesn't really matter when I do it because I don't need them until the month is over. Because I like to know like what has already happened, and then I'm able to fill in the information at the end of the month all at once. So right now, I'm just gonna go and use my papers and journaling cards to set up my March spreads. And that way, I will have everything more or less ready for when the month ends. And I actually add in my writing. And I'm keeping this whole process like really simple and straightforward so that it remains like easy and enjoyable. And I won't have like issues keeping up and doing this every month. I definitely don't want to get behind because then I will forget what happened. And I think there's also a major difference when you document things like in the moment versus like way after if you're like catching up. So I sort of want to do this in a timely manner if possible. And the only caveat to that, I guess, is that I know that I will be traveling internationally this summer, so there might be some catch up to do. But yeah, I'll deal with that when it happens. So you can see that I am just taking my papers and designs and things, and I mostly just use them as background for my pages so that I don't have like stark white pages. I also realized that I'm not a huge fan of like dot grid in general, so I don't mind covering it all up. I really do like color and pattern much more. I mean, you can see it in my previous spreads and journal pages in general. I am definitely more of a maximalist. I definitely enjoy seeing other people's pages when they do like really clean and minimal spreads with lots of white space, but I don't find myself actually gravitating to creating those types of pages. I tend to always want to add more, and ultimately at the end, I'll like sticker bomb all my spreads because I mean, I have so many stickers, I just want to use them. So it's always like a decorating, festival in this bullet journal. And honestly, I am really enjoying it because it just gives me a place to like make spreads where I don't have to think too much about the structure of what I'm doing because I sort of already have like set up the layout and I just follow like the template so to speak for every month. and I will have the journaling cards to put the information on so I don't have to worry about that. And so I can just like freely decorate, just create like nice backgrounds, and then all the other information is going to go on top. And normally I just use like a black Tombow marker to add in like bullet points on those journaling cards, the highlights and things. So it's nothing fancy at all. But yeah, I'm already looking forward to like the end of the year because I will be able to flip through and like see the highlights of my life just in like some spreads, monthly spreads. And not only will I see like the journaling that of what I'm recording, but I will also get to see my own paper designs that I'm creating month to month, and also the cute stickers and decos that I've accumulated and have in my stationery staff and actually using. So, generally, it's really turning out to be like a really relaxing and fun kind of project that I've done in this like bullet journal style. And I really do recommend doing something like this, like a highlights journal that is monthly, because I feel like that frequency is pretty easy for almost anyone to keep up with. Oftentimes on social media, like we'll see people who do daily memory keeping, and it definitely looks so cool, when you see amazing spreads and like long form journaling, and people are, recording all the cool daily tidbits here and there of their lifestyle. The problem is that it's just not practical or even possible for every person to do daily journaling. We would like to, and I know people say it doesn't have to be fancy, it could just be a paragraph, but we all know, if you've ever had a dated planner or journal, how hard it is to keep up with a daily kind of thing. And so you could move up to weekly. And there are plenty of planners out there that have like the weekly spread. But again, I feel like you can get behind real fast. And I often feel like a whole month has gone by and like I haven't done the things that I wanted to do. So that would be like 4 weeks that I would be behind if that happens. So I just feel like the frequency of monthly really works well. In a year, you have like 12 spreads or a little more, depending on how many you do, and it will be very easy to flip through and see the highlights for the whole year, but it isn't like so far apart that, you are not getting that much detail. You just sort of like highlight something every month if you want. And you can create, whole spreads or whole pages per month. But if you want to make it even easier for yourself, I've definitely seen people in the bullet journaling world create yearly overview spreads that have like 12 months on it, and the idea is that you would fill in each month as it passes. So it's a very cool idea for highlights in that fashion as well, that would take even less time because you're really just setting up like one layout and then just filling it in each month. It could be, bullet points of what happened that month. It could be like a photo that you just find representative of that month, or like a block of journaling or something. It's just another way to do something similar that is even quicker and probably easier to keep up with as well. So, for my bullet journal, I basically create like two spreads per month, because the first left hand side page is literally just decoration with the name of the month. So I'm sort of doing the same thing every month. Um, Granted, I'm using like different papers or stickers decoration, but really, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel if it's working, right? I'm just going to do the same thing so that I can like introduce, that month. And I am using all the papers and many of the journaling cards printed out as more like deco, as opposed to actually like journaling or writing on the journaling cards. Think of it as sort of like using memo sheets and things like that. I don't know if you guys have a lot of sticky notes or memo sheets in your stationery collection, but I don't actually use them for like taking notes, like post-it notes and things like that. I use them as like decorative pieces of paper. So you just use them in your journaling as deco, which is, again, just another possibility so that you can use the materials that you have in your stash in another way. Um, yeah, so I also use a Dymo label maker to write out the name of the month, and I add it to my page like a title. And after the Dymo label maker, I also use a date stamp. to stamp out the month like March 2025, like multiple times, sort of messy. I had done that in January, and then I just decided I would do that for every single month and keep it like consistent. So it will be the, opening spread for the month in that fashion. And I definitely encourage you to do something like this if it works for you. Um, you know, Sometimes I know that feeling of getting caught up in wanting to create a new journal page as if it has to be something like totally new and never done before, which is probably impossible anyways, right? But I don't see anything wrong with actually doing like the same thing if it works. I know sometimes you might get bored of it yourself, so you want to shake things up, but like if you like it and you enjoy the process, that's really what counts. Not every journal page has to be like a new layout or something, different. So I'm just going to stick with that and decorate my pages on a monthly basis the way that I always have. And again, it's, very similar and simple in using my printable papers, creating like a backdrop, like a background that I will actually put my journaling cards on top of so that I could record like the highlights for every single month, and that's it. And of course, I'm also going to go through my sticker sheets and decorate on top as well. But normally, I only decorate up to a certain point for these pages because the month isn't finished yet, and I do like the actual journaling and then gluing down the journaling cards at the end when the month is already over, because then I will know how much journaling, like how many bullet points I'm actually adding. Because if by chance they don't fit on that journaling card, I have blank ones that I can add. So then I would have to like shift things a little bit, like if I want to use two journaling cards for the highlights instead of one. So that's why I don't glue down those journaling cards yet, because I will do that at the end when I actually fill everything in and know like what I need to use. So far, I really haven't had that much that I need to do that, but you never know what might happen. And it also just depends on what you decide to record. And every month, I also include like a selfie, because that's another one of those things where I feel like if you're like a mom with kids, you probably take a lot of pictures of your kids and also of other people, and then you sort of end up like never being in the photos yourself or taking photos of yourself. And I think when selfies sort of first started up, there was like this sort of negative connotation about them because it was like, I don't know, people just a little bit too into themselves or their looks or posting on social media. So I guess my point is that I might have thought of it as a negative thing to be like, "Oh my gosh, why would I be taking selfies, all day long," kind of thing. But it's really just about documenting yourself, because I realized how odd it is if you are memory keeping, especially, and then like you're not in any of the photos. And I think it does happen a lot, especially to moms, because you're so focused on your kids. Um, so I think it's important to remember to every once in a while to like be in the photo yourself, or to just take a snapshot. And actually, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to be a mom to do this. I think it's good for like anyone and everyone to just record that snapshot of yourself in that month, right? And again, monthly is sort of like a nice frequency to do, because you would just have like 12 snapshots in a year. That's actually another great idea for a lot of those like overview pages that you have in planners, where you have the 12 months, but then you don't know what to put in them. You could just put like a little selfie in every single one so you can see like how you change throughout the year. I just think it's interesting to see that kind of that type of memory keeping and journaling in a quick view. Of course, you might have all of these things in your journals in different places or different pages, especially if you do a lot of journaling or journaling in different books. But having it all together in one place, I think, just changes it all completely. And I'm just gonna go through some of the sticker sheets that I have in here. Some of them I think I haven't even opened yet and haven't used them. I want to make sure to use my stash. That is definitely the theme for the year because I have so much stationery and supplies and stickers. And so I just want to make sure to remember to use them and, include them in my pages. So that's it for my March pages. I have been sharing my setup videos every single month for this particular bullet journal and project. So you can definitely check out my previous videos if you're interested in seeing each of the spreads. I basically have an opening 2025 spread, then I have two spreads for each month. So I have January and February, and now we are into March. So I just want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here and supporting me. And I hope that by sharing, I have maybe helped you a little bit in terms of inspiration in journaling and what you might be able to do. I wish you a very happy and lovely day. And until next time, bye.